In this video, I'm going to show you 3 different methods that allows you to combine multiple columns into single column. And these methods are going to help you in a big way while transforming your data. And the third method is my personal favorite. So make sure to watch, and now let's get started. The first method is about using TwoCall function, which is the new function, and that allows you to combine multiple columns into single column with just a few seconds. If you have access to TwoCall function, that is a new function, which is the easiest way to combine multiple columns into one single column. So when you insert TwoCall function, and in the first argument, which is array, you need to select the range where you have those multiple columns, and then in the second argument, you need to define if you want to ignore blanks or errors, or you want to ignore both. So I'm going to go with ignore blanks, and then in the third argument, which is scan by column. So you can specify if you want to scan by column, you want to combine values by column, or you want to combine values by row. By default, it's rows. And then I'm going to close my function and hit enter. And here you can see I have all the values from 3 columns into one single column. But these values are in rows. So I have first row, and then the second row, and then third row, and then fourth row. But if I want to go with columns, like first column, second column, and third column, I'm going to add true here. That means scan by column. And the moment I hit enter, I get values by columns, first, second, third column. So this is the easiest way to combine multiple columns into one single column if you have access to TwoCall function. If you don't have access to TwoCall function, you can use this method where we have a few functions to create a single formula that allows you to combine multiple columns into one single column. So have a look. Now here you can see I have already written this formula here where I get values first column wise. I get the first column, and then the second column, and then the third column. And here I get values using row wise, like first row, second row, third row, and then the fourth row. Now I'm going to show you how to write this function, and I'm going to write this function in 3 different parts. So first of all, I'm going to use this function quotient and row -1, 3, closing the function, and in the end adding 1. And now when I drag this formula down, I get 1, 2, 3, 4. These 4 values 3 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. That means I am referring to each row and each value within the row. And now I'm going to use the mode function. That's the second part of this formula. And again, row, close the function, -1, 3. Again, close the function, +1. And now you can see I have 1, 2, 3. That means for each row, I have first value, second value, and third value. And then the second row, first value, second value, third value. So this way, I'm referring to each row and each value from the row. And now in the end, I'm going to use the index function, referring to the range where I have 3 columns. This is the row number, and this is the column number. And let me close the function here. And let me drag it down. So I have values row wise. First row, second row, third row starts with Neil, and the fourth row starts with Anjali. That means I'm getting values for 3 columns row wise. Now you can use the same formula but in different way. So let me copy this part from here and enter it here. And I just need to change the number from this function, the second argument of the question function. And let me drag it down. Now you can see I have 1 4 times, 2 4 times, and 3 4 times. That means I am referring to each column. The 4 values from the first column, 4 values from the second column, and 4 values from the third column. And again, I'm going to copy this part of the formula. And here I have, and let me change it from 3 to 4. So first value, second value, third value, fourth value. For each column, all the 4 values. And again, I'm going to use index function. And now this time when I refer to the range, in the second argument, which is row num, that means row number, I'm going to select this part first, this value first. In the previous formula, we have used this as a row number and this as a column number. But this time, I'm going to use this as a row number and this as a column number. And now, let me close the function. So I get the first name. Just let me freeze this range from here. And here we go. We have all the names from 3 columns into a single column. You can use this function whenever you want. You just need to make sure that in which direction you want to combine your values. Now, this method is my personal favorite, where we're going to learn to use Power Query to combine multiple columns into single column with just a few clicks. So have a look. All right, so in this method, I'm going to use Power Query to combine these columns into one single column. So first of all, I'm going to select this range and apply an Excel table. So I'll press the keyboard shortcut Ctrl+T. And here in this option where I have my table has headers, I'm going to leave it as unchecked and click OK. So it will add a header row here. And now I'm going to right click and then go to get data from table or range. So it will instantly load my data into the Power Query editor just within a few seconds. Now I have my data into the Power Query editor, and now I'm going to select all the 3 columns. So I'll press Control and select all the 3 columns. And now I'm going to go to Transform, and from here, Unpivot columns, and then Unpivot columns. Now you can see I have all the values in a single column, but I also have one column that actually showing me the headings of each of the columns. So column 1, 2, 3, and then column 1, 2, 3, and again and again. Now the next thing is to delete this column because I don't need this column. I'll right click and remove, and my data is ready. So I'll go back to my home and then close and load to. And from here, click on existing worksheet, select a cell and click OK. And here I have all the values from 3 columns. Now let's test this query. Let me enter my own name here as a new value. And now I'm going to refresh this table. And you can see I have my name, the new entry in this table. So this is more like a dynamic solution. Whenever you add a new entry to your main data, you'll get it in the new column, just refreshing the table. That's it.